Hello everyone. In this lecture, we will try to solve some problem in relation to block diagram and signal flow graph that we have studied in previous lecture. So to begin with, we will try to draw a simple control system with plant and a feedback loop. So this is how block diagram will look like. So this is my input U, which goes with a positive sign into, and this is my control system with transfer function C, and then we are adding a disturbance sign along with control signal. Okay, both we take as positive sign, and then we have plant with transfer function G. We also have a feedback loop transfer function H, and this is the output. And this note that for sake of simplicity we are just ignoring the Laplace thing, but everything is in Laplace domain. So there is in fact this is Cs, this is Gs, this is Hs, and so on. Okay, but for simplicity we are just representing them with C, G and H. Okay, so what we are trying to do here is we are trying to find the transfer function. So here transfer function, there are actually two inputs. If you will see, one is my normal input signal that you know, and the another is disturbance signal which you don't know. So we can find a transfer function both with respect to these inputs, so that I can find out what is Ys by Us, and I can also find out Ys by Ds. Okay, so not only finding the transfer function, what we will do is we will trying to show you that Y is actually a response due to input and disturbance, when they actually individually, while the other is completely zero. So while doing that, what we do is while finding out transfer function, we will make D is equals to 0, and while finding this transfer function we will make U is equals to 0, and then finally we will try to find the overall function Ys by Us using superposition, not Ys, my total response Ys, okay, using superposition. So as these are the parts, I will call them as Y1 and Y2. So Y1 is a response when U1 is along acting, Y2 is a response when D is along acting. To find out Y1 by U, we will make D equals to 0. Okay, so to find out Y1 by U, I will make one second. So I will make D is equals to 0. So in that case, this block will not be there. Then how my block diagram will look like? So this part goes off completely, and I will remain with something like this. So we are taking negative feedback. This is Y1. Now this is very simple feedback loop. We know the transfer function of it is directly. So Y1 by U is nothing but the forward loop transfer function Cg by 1 plus Cgh, the feedback transfer function. Okay, now what we will do is, for sake of simplicity, we will even take h is equals to 1. Then our transfer function will be Cg 1 plus Cg. So this is 1. Now we will find another transfer function by making my input as 0. I am making my input as 0 in my earlier diagram. And what I am doing, I am making my input as 0, so it will not be there, whereas D will be present. So what I am doing is I am making U is equals to 0 and removing this part. Okay, so how my circuit will look like in that case? Okay, so this is how my circuit will look like. Now I will put this C because it is negative. I will take H. Okay, so Cn minus H goes into same loop because this completely vanished. I will take this as positive and I can write this as negative because H is my negative. Okay, C is positive, so this is how I can write it. So again, this is a feedback loop and you can take the transfer function to be G by 1 plus CGH, right? Now we can took H equals to 1 again. So we can write G 1 plus CG. So this is my second transfer function. Now my overall transfer function Y can be actually written as Y1 plus Y2. So by the principle of superposition, Y1 is U, if I am taking this U on this side, so Y1 is CGU 1 plus CG plus DG by 1 plus CG. Okay, so this is my overall transfer function. Now if we do the same thing normally, you take the complete system and try to find the overall response, this is what we will be getting. So this is kind of verification of superposition principle using this block diagram. Okay, now what we will do is we will take up slightly complex block diagram of the system and then try to find its transfer function. Okay, then we will convert the block diagram into signal flow graph and then we will again find the transfer function. So we will have a comparison of how difficult it to find the transfer function using block diagram directly and then using signal flow graph using mesh and gain formula. So this is how my complex block diagram will look like. So as you can see, this is pretty much complicated block diagram. It has about 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 blocks. So each block has its own transfer function and you can see there are 3 feedback loop and 1 parallel combination. If you will see, one second, this is my parallel block, combination block, this is my one loop, this is my another loop, and this complete one is my third loop. Okay, so now what we will do is we will simplify the block diagram using rules of block diagram algebra. And how do we begin with? The first thing we can observe is that this is feedback loop, which can be easily simplified. This is parallel, this is another feedback loop, but there is small complication here. So this point, a slightly off position. So for us, easy to apply the feedback formula that we know. I can easily apply feedback formula. So what we can do is I can shift this point over here, and once we shift that, we can easily find out or simplify these blocks and find out the overall function. So once that transfer the block, that is what we get. So I can draw this part, this whole part. One second, I will just draw this. I will just draw this whole part again and see how it look like when we shift that. Okay, so I will again redrawing this, only this part. So once I shift, that point comes here, but for shifting that there is something which we need to compensate. If you look at the signal which is coming out here, it is suppose if I am taking it as some y, so it is YG3. Okay, and if I am shifting it over there, H is having only Y, so I have to multiply G3. Okay, so I am multiplying G3 in my feedback to make this signal as G3, YG3. Okay, so whatever I lost this gain by shifting this point here, I will compensate by including it in my feedback transfer function. So this transfer function is now H2 G3 and everything else will remain same. So now we have a simple kind of diagram and this point here, okay, and this thing, okay. So this transfer function is, we can calculate as by applying the rule that we already know. We can find out transfer function. I will just redraw it. Erase the pen. So now this is not here, it is connecting somewhere like this and it is my G3. This point is like this, okay. So now this transfer function is what? G4 by 1 plus G4 H1. This is parallel combination, so it will be G3 plus G5. This transfer function is feedback path, so it will be G2 and my feedback is G2 G3H because G2 into G3 is there. So this is connecting like this, it is over here. I'm not having this point. So this is parallel, this is feedback, this is again feedback. So I will have these three for 3 combination and G3 alone. Okay. So how it will look like this. Okay. So now we have all 4 in cascade. Okay, 4 blocks are in cascade and then we will apply the cascade rule and then we will apply feedback law, right? So once I apply cascade rule, this will be something like this: G1 G2 1 plus G2 G3 H2 G3 plus G3 G4 by 1 plus G4 H1. Okay, and this is my feedback. So this will be single block now, and I can just add a unity feedback to this. So now I have a simple feedback loop and I can apply the feedback loop formula and get the transfer function. So the overall transfer function will look like this. So I am doing all the simplification and then giving you final answer. So you can do the simplification yourself for this thing, okay, and check. So this is the overall transfer function of system, and that is what we did when we start with very complicated block diagram, and then we use the rules that we already studied in previous class and try to simplify the whole block diagram and finally arrived at transfer function. So what we will do is we will draw this block diagram in terms of its signal flow graph and drive the same thing and see if both are equal or not. So this is how signal flow graph looks like. So while converting a block diagram to signal flow graph, one should be very careful to ensure that some branches are not missed out like this. So when you go from G3 to G5, okay, so this is one takeoff point followed by a summer. So you can't take it to be one node, okay. So every takeoff point and every sum should have its own node. They should also have its own node. This is takeoff point. If you will see this is my sum, so I'm taking it as one node. Then again sum, I'm taking it as one node. Then I'm having a takeoff point, I'm taking it as a one node. Then I'm having again one takeoff point, I'm taking it as one node. Then sum, then another node, then again takeoff point, and then another node. Okay, so like this this is same, it can be same takeoff point because both are at same point. Okay, so every takeoff point and every sum should have its own node, and because there is no gain over this, so we will take gain as 1. So similarly, when you write negative feedback, you should ensure that you put minus sign here. If you are checking out, I am putting minus sign at all the transfer functions. Okay, because there is no some kind of thing in signal flow graph, the negative sign goes into the gain, and this we will discuss in class, that you should add a branch to ensure that your input and output has a as per definition. Okay, so I am adding one branch to input and one branch to output. Okay, so now this is how signal flow graph look like, and now what we will do is we will apply Mason gain formula and try to drive the transfer function. So to begin with, what are the forward paths? Once clear forward path is u to y is this one. This is my one clear forward path. Okay, so we have g1, g2, g3, g4, and another forward path is 1 g1, g2, g5, and then g4, 5. Arrows are very important in signal flow. Okay, so how many forward path? My graph has only 2 forward path. What about loops? I will just clear it. What about loops? One loop is g4 minus h1, another loop is g2, g3 minus h2, another is g1, g2, g3, g4, and then this minus 1. Okay, with unity feedback. And you should be careful that there is another loop with g1, g2, g5, g4, and then back with negative feedback. Okay, so generally people miss out this one, so we should be careful here. So now we have forward path, we have loops. Now we will go for non-touching loops. Okay, I will just clear it once. They do not have any common nodes or branch. So among non-touching loop we have L1. So as I told you, this is my L1, this is L2, then L3, then L4. So we have L1 and L2 as non-touching, and if we observe, there is no other non-touching loop, because this loop and this loop are touching each other, this loop and this loop touching each other, and this big loop is touching both of them, and this one is also touching. So all are touching each other except L1 and L2. Okay, so my non-touching loop is L1 and 2. There is no other non-touching loop, and if we even go for 3 non-touching loop, there is nothing. There are no 3 loops which are not touching. So this is where we stop. Now we all have required component to substitute in Mason formula. We look at Mason formula is given as transfer function. So this is my Mason formula. Now we know both pk, both pk's are known. Before going, we need to compute delta and delta k. So first we will define what is delta. So delta as per definition is 1 minus individual loop. So my individual loops are g4, h1, minus minus will become plus, h2, g2, g3, h2, g1, g2, g3, g4, g1, g2, g5, g4. Okay, so these are my individual loops. Then plus sign the product of non-touching loops. So we have only one set of non-touching loop, so I will just add it here. So this is the delta. So what about delta 1? So if I take first forward path, there is no loop that is actually not touching the forward path. This is my first forward path. If you will see, all loop are touching it. L1 is touching it, L4 is touching it, so all are touching it. So for this, delta 1 is equals to 1. Similarly, if I erase all, my another forward path is this one. This is my another forward path. So H4 is touching, then H2 is touching, now H3 is touching to it, then H4 is touching, H1 is touching, sorry, L1 is touching, L3 is touching, this L2 is also touching, and L4 is also touching. So all loops are touching. So delta 2 is also 1. So in both the cases, delta k is 1. So this is how we got this transfer function in both the cases. And the most important point to note here is, when you have a signal flow, it is actually very easy to derive the transfer function, and in this case we have to do lots of commutation, lots of simplification, and before you could arrive this at this transfer function. But this is very simple. Even if there are more complicated block diagrams, it is always observed that signal flow goes very well in finding out the transfer function. So this is advantage here. And now for the last problem of this lecture, we will try to find out a signal flow graph from network directly. So we were told that apart from finding out block diagram, we can also find out signal flow graph from the network equation. Then this is what we will try to do in next problem. So I will take a network with some RLC components. Okay, so this is the network that I am taking. I have input source Vi, 2 resistor R1 and R2, 1 capacitor, 1 inductor. Our output variable is well defined, it is a voltage across R2. So here I will take the branch current as I1. This is my branch current, not loop current. Okay, so branch current as I1, this branch current as I2. So this branch current will be I1 minus I2. So we will deal with these variables. So first what we will do is, we will write down the equation based on Kirchhoff's law that we know. And so this voltage here, I am defining it as Vi. This will always be away from V0. So what is my Vi? So I am directly writing everything in Laplace domain, because now we are comfortable with writing down network in S domain directly. So Vi is nothing R1 I1 plus V1s. So I am just taking this node voltage as V1. So this is my Vi, this is my V1, this is my V0 or output. Okay, so in this loop, if I will say this is my V1, so Vi is equals to I1 R1 plus V1. So this is my first equation, and my Vi is, V1 is what? 1 by SC I1 into I2. From this branch, my branch voltage is V1. Again, I can write V1 as in terms of this loop. So it is SL I2S plus V0, and V2 is R2 I2S. Okay, so these are my 4 equations. Now while driving the signal flow graph, we have to go from V0 to Vi to V0. So in between, as we said, the nodes are actually the system variables. So we include all these variables as node 1, I1, I2, and so the easiest way to do is put it in order which they appear in series circuit. So V1, then I am having I1, then I am having V1, then I am having I2, then V0. Okay, So first I will put I1. So these are my nodes. Okay. Again, everything is in S domain, just using variable directly without representing S. So how do we connect these nodes using signal flow? So we said we are using equation to find out what will be my signal flow graph. So I have a certain equation which relate these variables. So now I find the right gain which will connect these things. So first, what is the connection between Vi and I1? So Vi is nothing but R1 I1. So because I will write I1 in terms of V1. One second, I will just erase it once. I will just draw it properly. I am having first node as Vi and second is my I1. Okay, so V1 is nothing, R1 I1 is plus V1s. So I will write I1 in terms of V1. So I1 is V1 minus I minus V1 by R1. Okay, so my I1 is depending on V1 and Vi and V1. So what is the factor with which it is depending on Vi is 1 by R1. So it is, if I take, it is depending on 1 by R1. And what is the factor with which it is depending on V1 is minus 1 by R1. So it is depending upon minus 1 by R1. So its direction is like this and it is like this. Okay, the sum of 2 will give me I1. Okay, so I will now find out V1 in terms of I1. So if you will see, V1 is I1 and I2. So it is dependent again on two terms, I2 and I1. V1 is 1 by SC times I1 and I2 we are getting, it is in another back direction, this is forward direction and it is minus 1 by SC. Okay, so I2 is with factor minus 1 by SC. So I will put 1 by SC. Now what is the relationship between I2 and V1? So we already know this. So V1, I will calculate I2 from V1, it is V1 minus V0 divided by SL. So I2 in terms of V1 and V0 is, from V1 it is 1 by SL and from V0 it is again minus 1 by SL in this direction. Okay, so now comes V2, relationship between V2 and I2, and from this equation V2 is R2 times I2. Okay, so this is my signal flow diagram. So this is exactly representing all the equation that we have written here. So I will just make it in proper way. So this is my signal flow graph and it is exactly represent all the equation that we have written over here. And also, so there is nothing that is missing, the complete network is actually coming into this signal flow graph. Now what we will do is we will try to find out the transfer function. Earlier we used to apply all this and do the elimination and find out the transfer function Now because we are dealing with signal flow graph, we will apply Mason gain formula and find out what is transfer function. So you can see there is only one forward path, okay, and its gain is again what, this is my forward path, and its gain will be 1 by R1 into 1 by SC into 1 by SL into into R2, and then I have 3 loops, right? 1, 2, 3. So one loop is minus 1 by R1 SC, another is 1 by S square LC, third is R square by SL minus, right? So we have one forward path and 3 loops. So what are my non-touching loops here? So these are 2 touching each other, this is also touching each other, but this and this are not touching. So I can write L1 into L3, which is R2 by S square R1 CL. Now simply we apply Mason formula to get the overall transfer function, which is before Mason gain we will also need to find out delta. So I will write down delta here. Delta is 1 minus everything has a minus sign here. So I will put a plus sign, 1 plus 1 by RSL. So these are my individual loop, and this is sum plus sum of all non-touching loops, product of non-touching loops. Okay, so this is my delta. Now I am having one forward path, so delta 1 is equals to 1 because all 3 loops are touching my forward path. So you can go from here to here, every loop is being touched, so delta 1 is 1. So what will be the overall function is simply P1 by delta 1 by delta, which is nothing but this is P1 divided by my this whole data. So that will give you just simply simplify it and find out the overall transfer function. So instead of doing all the analysis and try to eliminate everything and finding out what is V0 and V1, we will simply draw the signal flow graph and directly get my transfer function. So that is for today's lecture. Thank you.